Hello all, this is Assistant Professor Gagandeep Singh from Ajay Kumar Garg Engineering College, Ghaziabad. This is lecture series on analog signal processing. The topic for today is general impedance circuit. The general impedance converters are also called GICs. This is for AKTU, this is unit number 4. In this unit 4, we will discuss the GIC. Then we will discuss the design of GIC. From GIC we will design some of the circuits that we have discussed in the other subjects. These are like simple ladder circuits, RLC ladder circuits. Then we will discuss some of the techniques, two techniques, most important techniques to design the GICs, the general impedance converters. Then again one is negative component creation, that is difficulty in the practicality of the components, like we cannot design a negative resistance. So how we can design, that is the topic of unit 4. So first of all, what is GIC? That is the main point. GIC is gyrator that we have discussed in the previous units also. GIC is, you can see, is a one type of gyrator, is a one type of GIC. Now we have discussed that for analog signal processing we have one major issue, that we need some components which are very large in size. For example, inductors. Inductors cannot be manufactured in VLSI technology due to its size. Further, not for the all values inductors can be implemented. For example, for a very high value of Henry's inductors, that will be not possible to design or not possible to create in the actual inductor. So we can design those using general impedance converters. So we can say that this is the basic requirement of VLSI technology, to have such circuits which can give some component implementation. Now as we know that the basic difference is inductor, which is difficult in VLSI design to implement. So to replace it with a smaller structure which can be implemented using integration technologies, we need to have some replacement of the inductor. That is possible by active electronic circuits. Active electronic circuits we have discussed throughout the analog signal processing, that use op-amps and the active devices. So to achieve this goal, gyrator is used whose input impedance is inversely proportional to the load impedance. That means if we have Z in as input impedance, it is proportional to 1 by Z load. This is a basic equation, this is the basic terminology of GIC, that the output load can be converted to the input impedance. So if we see a basic diagram or a block diagram of GIC, we can say that the output is proportional to the input, inversely proportional to the input. So if we see here, I1 is the current, input current, and V2 is the output voltage. So here we can say that the gyrator can be described as a device whose input current is proportional to the output voltage. That means I1 is proportional to the voltage V2. Output proportional to input proportional to the V2. And the output is proportional to the input voltage. That is, input current is proportional to the input voltage. Output current is proportional to the input voltage, and the proportionality constant can be changed by 1 by R for the two equations. Here the negative sign shows the direction of the current. So I1 is equal to 1 minus 1 by R into V2, and proportionality constant is minus 1 by 2, and I2 is equal to 1 by R V1. So from these two equations, if we get the input impedance, if input impedance Zin, if we see Zin, it is equal to V1 input voltage divided by I1 input current. So if we from those two equations, equation of I1 and I2, if we get V1 and V1 by I1, from here we can get V1 and here I can get I1. So ratio of these two, we can receive it as R I2 divided by 1 upon R into 1 by V2 with the negative sign of I1 of this equation. So this will give R square minus of I2 by by V1 V2. Now if I see I2 by V1 V2, this is the output impedance or load impedance ZL. So ZL can be given as V2 by I2. So I2 by V2 will give negative of the load. So this will give equal to 1 R square upon ZL. In S domain I can see it ZL S. So our input impedance Zin is equal to R square by Z load. R square is the proportionality constant. So from these equations we can say that, first thing, that the gyrator consists of two voltage controlled current sources. Two current sources whose input and the output current sources which were voltage controlled. So we can create gyrator using the two voltage controlled current sources. Now if we see the gyrator, the definition of gyrator, if we say gyrator can be defined as a two-port network whose input impedance is proportional to the load impedance and proportionality constant is R square. We have seen that the two ports are input port and the output port, right? The symbol for this one, to show this one gyrator, the symbol used is like this one. Here we have one block given by some bludge and the other block which is shown by the other bludge, and in between there is a gyration constant, that is showing the LD. Right? Now both things are the this represents the one side represents the one voltage controlled current source, other can represent the other voltage controlled current source. In between the proportionality constant is R square, which is also known as the gyration resistance. gyration resistance. Now, what is the use of this gyration resistance or gyrator? Now, first thing we have discussed that Zin is proportional to R square by Z load. Right. Now, first case is when Z, let's suppose we have opened the load. Now, if we have not connected here, we have opened this load. This means Zin is infinite. If we have closed this, Z is equal to 0. If we have 0 load, that means it is a short circuit, then Zin, it will be by R square by 0, R square by 0. Now, R square by 0, that means Zin will be infinite. So, this means it will be shown as a open circuit. Right. So, we have applied a short circuit and we are getting an open circuit. Inversely, if we have Z load as infinite, that means we have not connected any input and it is open circuit. Zin will be 0, that means it will be a short circuit. So, if we are opening a circuit, it is going short circuit. If we are giving short circuit, it is giving a open circuit. Further, the load, the nature of this ZL, that can define how this gyrator is behaving, that we should see just after short. Right? For example, if we want to realize an inductor, if we have, again let's suppose take the equation same, Zin is equal to R square upon Z load, that is load is inversely proportional to the input impedance. Then if load is capacitive, that is ZL is 1 by SC. If we implement a capacitor over here at the gyrator output, then it can be written as 1 R square upon 1 divided by SC, and if we manipulate it, it will be if simplify it, it will be S into R square C. Let's suppose this is C2, right? Due to the notation, I am reading it C2. Right? So now, if you can see, this is S into R square C, right? And if you know that if our impedance is, if our load impedance as an inductor, it will be S into L. So our input impedance is behaving as S into L, and here equivalent L equivalent is R square C. Now remember, R square is a constant, gyration constant, so L is dependent upon the C. That means if we are implementing a capacitor, a load is capacitive, our circuit is behaving as an inductor. Or we can say that for an inductor in a circuit, we can replace inductor with our gyrator with a load impedance of capacitor. So we can remove all the deficiencies, all the shortcomings of inductor using this gyration resistance. So in this way, we can, using the gyrator, we can realize the inductor. Now how we can implement the gyrator? Now to implement the gyrator, first of all we need active, we are using the active devices, so let's do it with using op-amp, try it with op-amp. Right? Now first thing we have discussed that gyrator is consists of two voltage controlled current sources. Voltage controlled current sources, right? So it can be created as a voltage controlled source, a voltage source, sorry, a current source, right, which is voltage controlled, right? Now op-amp, which is a voltage controlled voltage source, will not directly implement because it is a voltage controlled current source. So voltage controlled voltage source cannot directly implement the voltage controlled current source. So we need to have some modification in our using op-amp circuit to make it voltage controlled current source, and that can be implemented using op-amps. Now if we see if we see the equations, input current was proportional to the output voltage V2 and proportionality constant was 1 by R with the negative sign to show the direction of the current. Now this is a gyration resistance 1 by R, and 1 by R can be taken as GM, the conductance. GM, the conductance. So this equation can be implemented using transconductance. We will see it again shortly. We can implement it using transconductances. Here the input current is proportional to the output voltage, and the proportionality constant is GM, which is the transconductance. So we have two equations, one is for the one input current and other is for the output current, which is proportional to the input voltage. Now GM is the transconductance. 1 by R has ohms unit and it is 1 by ohm unit, so it is also has Siemens as units, and it can be taken as the ratio of the current at one port to the voltage at the other port. It can be input voltage or it can be I2 by V1. This is a transconductance. Now if we see the transconductance, if these two equations, transconductance, input impedance, if we see the input impedance of these two again, that will be proportional to 1 by G Zin will be proportional equal to 1 by Gm square into 1 upon Z load. Equation written here, right? As load can be inductive, capacitive or anything resistive, we have taken it in the S domain. Zs and Zn are there, right? Again if we say Zl is a capacitor, so it will be 1 upon Gm square C into S, and manipulating it will be giving the inductor. So we will have Zin is equal to 1 upon S into L. Now L, let's suppose L equivalent here is 1 upon Gm square into C. These are the same, almost same equation as the gyrator, but here we are using transconductors. We are using the transconductors. So L equivalent can be taken as this equation. Where L is equal to this thing. Now again if we have Zin, if Zin is infinite, ZL will be 0, ZL is 0, then in will be infinite, or Zin is infinite, ZL will be infinite, 0. right? That means agar load, if we are making a load as short circuit, this will be open circuit. If ZL is short circuit, Zin will be open, or if ZL is open circuit, Zin will be short circuit. So same way we can make it using the transconductors. Now OTA based gyrators are there to make it the simple thing. Now here we see, if we see, this is the transconductor. One transconductor is, its symbol is, transconductor is, symbol is the two inputs, one is the positive and other is a negative, same as op-amp, but a op-amp's triangle is not completed, it is a hexagon, and output is a current, right? It can give the currents. So this is the symbol of gyrator, OTA, a transconductor. Now this can be, now we can create this gyrator using the two transconductors. As we can see, we have seen that it can be using the two voltage controlled current sources. So if we use transconductor, we can make the gyrators which can follow the inductors. So one transconductor is like this one. Now here if you see, I1 is current is going through this one in this way, and I2 current is going through this way. So we can make it as one as negative and other is the positive transconductor. So one is going through the minus and other is going through the positive. And for this one the V1 is proportional to the I2 current that is going through this one, and I2 for this transconductor will be proportional to the V1. I2 will be proportional to the V1. So we can see for this one has the equations I1 is equal to Gm into V2 and I2 is equal to Gm into V1. So again we have two equations, one is 1 if we say input is I11, suppose this is 1 dash, this is 2 dash. For this transconductor OTA based conductor, OTA is operational transconductor amplifiers. So if we use transconductors, we can create Z11 which is the input impedance Z11, which is equal to 1 by Gm square into 1 by Z22, which is the output impedance. The transconductor we will also OTA and the transconductors we will also discuss in brief in the next unit, which is the 5th unit, which is based on the OTAs. So this is way we are creating a transconductors gyrator, and if we connect a load as capacitor over here, it will be as it will act as an inductor. So this whole circuit will act as an inductor. So we have created an inductor which is grounded. So I can replace these circuits as an inductor which is grounded. Now how we can create general impedance circuits? What is the how we designed this GIC gyrators and the all things. Now basic thing is that we want to have elimination of inductor. because those are the basic that has a basic problem that they cannot be implemented in VLSI technology due to its size as well as its values, heavy size, large size, and the large values are not possible. So we have two other components, passive components besides the active components, which are R and C, resistance and the capacitor. Resistance can be created and the capacitor can be created, as we have discussed in the introductory lectures, that we can create these two components in the VLSI technology. So if we want to design these circuits plus some active circuits to implement some inductor, we can, let's suppose we have any circuit, we can take all the circuits plus the inductor circuit. Let's suppose this inductor circuit is given out of this circuit. So now what we can say, we have one circuit which is a two-port network. Let's suppose two-port network as gyrator. One thing we can take is as gyrator, which is used to drive some inductor circuit. Now we can say that this circuit has some inductors, right? This circuit has some inductors, and we have to replace this inductor with some resistance and some capacitors plus op-amp circuits. So to simulate, let's take out all those resistances out of this circuit. So we can take, we are just conceptualizing one circuit where we can take R out of this circuit. So for this conceptualized circuit, if we take the impedances and the currents for this one, if we say I1 current, it will be G1, which is the conductance of this R1, right? It will be VL into minus V2, simply V is equal to IR, right? And here we can take, so also we can take for the other circuit, right? If we take the VL out of this, it will be GA1 into VL into 1 minus 1 V2 by V1. So the circuit must realize that this transfer function to make ZL. So we need to take the transfer function V2 by V1. Now we have seen that this V2 by V1 can be taken as from here as G1 or 1 R1 1 by R1 into 1 plus V2 by V1. From here, if you take the V2 by V1, it will be 1 minus R1 by SL equivalent. So if we take SL equivalent, the value of SL equivalent is we can take it as 1 by S into L equivalent. We can take it as 1 by SL equivalent, and the value of 1 by SL equivalent can be taken as a time constant. It is L by R in general terms. So tau can be taken as a time constant, and we can say that we have to realize a circuit which can be which has a transfer function V2 by V load. Transfer function V2 by V load is equal to 1 minus 1 by S into tau. Tau is the time constant given by L equivalent by R1, right? So we can say that this is the integration of 1 tau. This is the integration of tau which is subtracted from 1. So we can say that the circuit that we have conceptualized is the subtraction of integration from from a constant which is 1, so we can realize the conceptualized circuit by integrating it. Or we can say that the difference is performed by employing a difference amplifier with the feedback resistance by a capacitor, right? So we can see that this circuit can be realized by an integrator with the difference amplifier, and feedback is given as a capacitor to make it an integrator. A difference amplifier given with the capacitor to make it a integrator. So this whole circuit will give 1 minus 1 by S tau, right? So for this circuit, for this conceptualized circuit, we can draw using op-amps a circuit which is a difference amplifier with a capacitor, resistance and the capacitor, right? So if we see for this circuit, we can say two voltages, one is V plus and other is a V minus, right? If we say V plus, it is G4 upon G4 plus G5. Just simply if we take the voltage divider rule at this point, it is G4 by G5, G4 divided by G4 plus G5 into the input voltage which is V. So here voltage is V, and if we take the negative at this point, it will be the S into C2, which is a capacitor, into V2 from here, V2 plus G3 into V for this one, divided by the total resistance which is SC2 plus G3. From here we can also say that 1 plus, if we take from here, it will be 1 plus G5 by G4, 1 upon 1 by G4 by G4. We can take it as H, Using the study of the op-amp, we can signify what is the value of H, which is a gain of an inputting amplifier. Right. Now these two, V plus and V minus, again for the study of the op-amp, we know that for the two voltages of the op-amp, if op-amp is idle, both voltages will be equal. So let's take these two equations. If both are equal, if it is idle, the two voltages over here will be equal. Right. Now our aim is to find out the transfer function of these two equations. Right. So if we see from here, what is that will be the transfer function? It will be V2 by VL. So here we have V2 as well as V. V minus will be eliminated, so we can find out the VL, V2 by VL, which is the transfer function. So if we equate these two equations, and we will get V2 by V is equal to 1 by H into SC2 plus G3 divided by SC2 minus G3 by SC2. Just we have manipulated, we have simplified the equations, which for the further simplification we can take it out as 1 by H has taken common, so it takes 1 minus 1 upon SC2 into R3 into 1 minus H minus 1. If you simplify the value of H, remember the value of H is 1 plus G5 by G4, G5 by G4. Right? The value of GH is 1 upon 1 plus G5 by G4. So if we put the value of G here, it will give the same result, right? So we can put the value of H over here, and then it will give G5 by G4. So if in terms of resistance, it will give R4 R3 into R4 R3 into R5 divided by R4, right? Now again, if we say we need to have, if we remember in the previous time constant thing, we have L equivalent by R1 is tau, and we need 1 minus R1 by L equivalent, 1 minus R1 by L equivalent. So if we include L multiplying and dividing by R1, it will give 1 minus R1 by L equivalent. So we have L equivalent given by this whole equation, this whole terms, that is C2 R1 is multiplied by and divided by R1. So C2 R1 R3 R5 by R4 will be L equivalent. So we can see this equation as V by V, which can be V2 by V is equal to 1 by H into 1 plus R by S L, and L, if we go in the other side, it will give V2 by V divided by H is equal to 1 minus R1 by SL equivalent, right? So one thing we have to make V2 is equal to VL by V2 by VL is equal to 1 minus 1 by S tau, right? So we can say that we can make VH by V by H as VL, then we can have a V2 by VL that can be created if we short this VH by VL, if we short VL by VH. So we can connect, if we connect connection VL by closed, the feedback loop around the amplifier A1, which is this amplifier, so that the operational amplifier input voltage is 0, then we can say that VL minus VH1 will be equal, or we can say that VL minus V by H is equal to 0. Right? So in this way we can make the connection for VL by 1. So we can short this VL by V1, so which can be given by negative, or given to the PVL by second terminal, negative terminal of VH. So we can make the connection by connecting VL by VH, which will be shorted, and it will give this equation. And second thing, to remove the loading effect, we can have resistance between them. This one is a directly short circuit. So we have connected V1 by R1. So we can make it easily with this circuit. Now in the next lecture we will discuss and we will find out the input impedance to the output output current to the voltage to the input current voltage, that means V load V4 by V1, to find out its transfer function, and we will discuss that how its transfer function is behaving. Thank you.